The World at the End of the 16th Century. Back at the beginning of this book, you pretended to be riding a flying carpet that took you all over the Roman Empire. The Romans thought that they ruled the whole world. They didn't even know about North and South America, or about Australia or New Zealand, or about Japan. Your flying carpet didn't take you to any of these countries. Maybe it was a Roman carpet and didn't know any better. The Spanish Armada tried to invade England 1100 years after the fall of Rome. In those 1100 years, the world has changed. It looks very different than it did in the days of the old Roman Empire. So let's take another little trip around the world and see just how different it is. But you won't need a flying carpet anymore. You can board a fast-sailing ship and skim around the world by sea. Let's sail from Plymouth, where the English Navy has just defeated the Spanish. A good wind catches your sails and sends you south. As you pass France, you cross the path of a merchant ship headed for North America. Its owner is hoping to get rich, soft skins from the Native Americans of Canada, and bring them back for French ladies to wear. As you continue south, you also pass a battered group of Spanish ships limping back to port after their humiliating defeat by England. The sailors are pumping water out of the ship's holds. The Spanish galleons are leaking because the English Navy shot them full of holes. You could turn to the east now and sail through the Straits of Gibraltar into the Mediterranean Sea, but you decide to keep on sailing down the coast of Africa. You know that you can sail around the southern tip of Africa and back up towards India. Vasco da Gama already did, nearly 100 years ago. As you sail down the coast of Africa, you see Portuguese, Spanish, and English ships anchored at African ports. Some of these ships are loading up gold, some are filling their holds with ivory. But you also hear wails and cries. African captives are being herded onto slave ships to begin the long trip across the Atlantic. They will work in the New World and never come home again. You stay on your southern route. Soon the trading ships are behind you. The southern African coast is thick, green, and mysterious. Past the coast, deep into the heart of the African continent, tribes roam the grassland and the jungles, hunting and fishing. You don't know anything more about these tribes. The rest of the world hasn't yet explored into the center of Africa. You round the tip of Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, and start north. Now you're in the Indian Ocean, and after hundreds of miles of ocean have passed beneath your ship, you see the Arabian Peninsula ahead of you. You round the tip of Africa, the Cape of Good Hope, and start north. Now you're in the Indian Ocean, and after hundreds of miles of ocean have passed beneath your ship, you see the Arabian Peninsula ahead of you. The Ottoman Empire, which captured Constantinople and changed its name to Istanbul, ruled over much of Arabia, until a few years ago when its greater emperor Suleiman the Magnificent died. Now the Ottoman Empire is beginning to shrink, and its people are casting a wary eye east at the Persians who live between Arabia and India. It looks as though war may break out between the Persians and the Ottomans. You don't want to run into any fighting, so you stay safely out to sea. You head your ship east and soon see the coast of India. You're no longer alone. Other ships are headed for Indian ports too. Portuguese, Spanish, and English ships are hoping to trade for Indian spices. India, ruled by a strong Mongol emperor, is at peace. Hindus and Muslims live side by side, and the whole country prospers because of trade with Europe. You're half tempted to drop anchor and go ashore, to see the beautiful Indian buildings and smell the rich scent of spices at the ports, but you decide to keep on. You make your way carefully through a maze of islands into the South China Sea. South of you lies the huge island of Australia, where the Aboriginal nomads hunt kangaroos, dig water frogs out of the ground, and tell their stories of the dream time. Even farther south lies the smaller islands of New Zealand, where the Maoris skim along the coastal waters in their fishing canoes. But explorers haven't yet made their way to these islands, and so you turn north towards China and sail along the eastern coast of this huge, mysterious country. Once, China had its own ships and traded with the outside world, but now the Ming dynasty rules over China. The Ming emperors have forbidden sailors to set out into the ocean. They have built a secret palace in the center of China's capital, where the emperor lives, far away from foreign eyes. You'd like to land your ship and explore, but you're afraid that you won't be welcome. So you sail on. North of you lies the islands of Japan, where the samurai are fighting with each other for control of their country. The emperor isn't strong enough to stop them. The famous samurai warrior Oda Nobunaga has just captured the capital city of Japan. For now, he is the strongest leader in Japan. You turn your ship right and head east again, out into the Pacific Ocean. You know that since the Earth is round, you'll eventually run into the west coast of North America. And after months of travel, land finally comes into view. There are no colonies on this coast yet, but when you turn and sail south, down along the coast of Central America, you begin to see Spanish settlements where Aztec cities once stood. Past Central America, down along the South American coast, you see the ruins of Incan temples and broad Incan roads high on the mountains that rise up from South America's beaches. The wind grows stronger, you are reaching the southern tip of South America. You could take a shortcut through the Straits of Magellan, but you're afraid your ship will run aground in that rough, choppy water. So you go all the way down to Cape Horn, sail around it, and head back up north. Now you begin to see Portuguese settlements, and you have to tack quickly out of the way when a Portuguese ship sails by on your left, firing at a Spanish ship approaching on your right. The Portuguese and Spanish are still arguing over that South American land. Eventually you sail around the broadest part of South America and head back up through the Caribbean toward North America. Spanish colonies dot Florida, but as you keep on sailing north along the coast, the land grows wilder. You glimpse a hunting party of Native Americans silently stalking a herd of deer, but when they see your ship, they disappear into the forest. As you reach the middle of the continent, you sail past a wind-swept island a little off the coast. A couple of water-soaked planks lick on the beach. When you squint, you can see the ruins of a fence, with deer grazing contentedly on the watermelons that grow in an old garden, overgrown with weeds. The remains of the lost colony still stand on Roanoke Island. You skim up on the coast, feeling the air turn cooler. Far, far north, you see an island up ahead of you, with a busy fishing settlement on its shores. French, English, Portuguese, Italian, Spanish, and Dutch fishing ships circle the island, dragging fishing nets behind them. Smoke rises up from the chimneys of dozens of small houses. Drying fish lie on stands all along the shore. It's the height of the fishing season in Newfoundland, and the colony of St. John's is busy. By fall, the ships will be gone, and the island will be empty. It's time to turn to the east once more and sail back toward England, where you began your trip. You've managed to make a journey all around the world and back again.